Hello. It's Monday. How's everyone doing? Today we're going to take a look at drawing roads over hilly areas, and I'm going to show you a couple mistakes I want you to avoid. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Monday afternoon live. I am glad that everybody is here. We get together every Monday afternoon and about 2 o'clock Eastern time, and we always draw usually something that has to do with a landscape or it might be a seascape. Occasionally we do something that is interior. And we have a very active Facebook group, so if you'd like to join us there, the link is in the description. And that's about all I've got to say on that. But I am glad that you're here. We have a good crowd here that's growing, so this is quite nice. But anyways, let's get right into this. We are live, so if you have a question, if you have a question, just throw it in the chat, and then I will quickly respond. Now let's see why this isn't cooking here. Let's turn that on. All right, here we go. Now we're in business. All right, get that straightened up there. There it goes. Okay, let's get started, okay? What you have in front of you here is two paintings by one of my favorite painters. His name is Wayne T-Bone, and he, earlier on in his career, he did a whole bunch of cakes and sweets, and then later on he started painting these hills, and I think they are just phenomenal. I've seen some of them in person. They are gigantic and they are super thick with paint. So I'll add his name in the description below, that if you want to look him up a little bit later. But I just kind of want to show you that this is a very interesting topic to try and get your head around. There are some challenges that have to do with it, and we're going to walk through to help you kind of get over some of those. All right. So here's our picture. It comes from Australia, and let's take a look at this idea first. Okay. If you draw an oval. All right. If you draw an oval, let's say this is a road, this is a ring, a track going around. It would be something like this. You see that? Where this, when it gets to its width, it's wide, but then when it gets foreshortened, it really gets compressed. You see that? So that's one thing you got to think of, especially when you start drawing a curve in the road like this. You're going to come in tight, and then you're going to get really wide, and then you're going to get tight again. All right, so that's the first thing I want you to think of is when the road is, it will become very foreshortened at some point. All right, so that's number one. Number two. Let's say if we have some hills here, so let's draw one like this, and let's do one like this, and one like this maybe, okay? And what I want you to do is draw some contour lines. What are contour lines? Are lines that follow the surface. So this hill might be coming down like this. This one might be coming down like this. And then this last one might be coming down like this. So if you were a person, or let's just say if you were just a box, if you were going to go down this hill, you would this is the path you would take. You'd come down here, and then you would come up the other side, and then you might end up here, and then you would come up the other side, and then you might come down this way. You see this? So the second thing I want you to think of when you're drawing these hills, I want you to think of the contour that the hill, that the that it is the contour of the surface that you're drawing the ground on, the road on. Okay, and then the last thing I want you to think of when we're doing it, and this probably is really, we've talked about this often, is the idea that you must trust what you see and not what you think. Because as you're drawing, you're going to feel like this may not be right, but it actually is right. But your mind, what you are seeing is different than what you think, and you've got to trust what you see. Okay, so those are the three things. Think of the foreshortening. Okay, I want you to think of drawing on the contour of things, and I want you to trust what you see and not what you think. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring our picture up here. And let's go ahead and start with a framework here, all right? Let's start off with a framework. And now let's make some observations of what we see in front of us, here, okay? This is an important one right off the bat, and I don't want you to miss this. Look at the bottom of the picture. See down here, this is one side of the road. You see that? And look, way over here, the road goes way beyond this. Look how wide that is. In fact, this is right there is the edge of the road on the far right side there. That's the whole width of your paper. And then just a little bit up, this might be, let's say this is maybe 1/3 up the side. Now look at the width of the road. It is really narrow there. So right off the bat, we've got to be careful to get this curve. We've got to get that curve accurate, and then we've also got to get this curve accurate. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's kind of put some markers in here that will help us determine that. So I'm just gonna put a little dot over here, and then over here I'm gonna put another dot, and we're gonna keep this light right now, and then we're gonna come up maybe about 1/3 of the page and put a little marker right there. I'm going to erase some of this here. Oops. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. So let's just look at the negative space here. Sorry. Just trying to get this organized. So let's look at this negative shape here. Look at that. Okay, let's put that in. Keep it light. And then right across here, we're probably right about there is our next pencil mark. And let's very carefully look at that. Look at this curve that we see. It's like an S curve. You see that? Nice S curve. Let's put that in. Okay, now look at this. If we go to this, if we go from this point right there and go up, look at that's just a little distance there. You see that? And then this is going to come around like this. So let's put that in. All right, let's keep going back in space here. No, be careful now. All right, so look at that. Look at that point right there. And then look at the width right there, right? All right, so let's try and get a good approximation of that. And that's going to go right across. That's going to be wide like this. Okay. Try and keep it light. I'm probably drawing just a little too dark on mine. All right, let's keep going up in our road here. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's do this next. Let's get this hill that's coming in right here. So this hill, if you remember, we kind of marked almost this as a third, and this is maybe it's a little less than 2/3, but we're probably somewhere up there. And very lightly, let's just bring a line down here. Getting this framework of this road is probably the most. This is a very important point. Get this figured out, and then it's just a little bit easier after this. But this is a hard point. Okay, so where does that road cross go over the peak there? So what I'm going to do here is look at this. Here's that little marker there. It's right there, right? If I go a vertical line straight above that, wow, look at that. That lines up with the far side of the road there. Okay, that's a very helpful alignment. So I'm going to come right up there. And then this is just going to follow, like I said earlier, it's going to follow the contour. Okay, let's go up the hill there just a width, right? And let's follow the contour again. We're going to come down. It's going to foreshorten just a bit. All right, let's get that next hilly area behind that, and it's going to start right about there. And this is going to come as I'm looking at right here, and if I go with a vertical line across, okay, so that's about where I want to go, where I want it to end up. So I'm going to go here. And then it's going to have a nice even slope, right? Something like that, maybe. Okay, look at this now. This is right. See that little mark right there? Right? I'll put a little arrow. Right there. Okay, that's going to be right there, right? Now look at the road. Look at the road behind that. You see where that's lining up with that? Let's just put in the next road there. It's has quite a curve. Look at that. It foreshortens back there, right? Now we're gonna have some trees that are gonna cover some of that, but that will gotta get us situated back there, I think. And the last thing, as far as we've got this, got actually two mountains in the background there, but we could just kind of do this sort of thing. And there you go. That should get us set up here. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all my lines now. All of these guides that I just put in. That's enough information that will help set us up. Like I said, if you have any questions, just shout it out. Let me get rid of this thing here too. I'm just kind of cleaning up my board here. Okay, ready? All right, let's start. Let's come back down here, back down to this corner here. And the next thing I want you to see on this picture is there's quite a beautiful embankment. So if our road is starting right here, look at this embankment is starting way up there. You see that? So that's pretty high up on the page. So let's kind of get a good, let's kind of make a measure going across the top there. Okay, it's going to be right about there, I think. And then right about here, look at this. It's gonna, this is where it kind of gets level. It's a party, that's right. This is where it kind of gets level with the, you see this? It gets level with the ground there. So let's put some surface lines here. And just do these light. This is only to help you realize what the thickness of that edge there. All right. Let's jump to the other side now, okay? And this is kind of a ledge up here as well. And it's kind of like this, you see? It's probably a little bit more, we're looking more on the top of it there. Just trying to get some elements in here before we start having fun with all of these posts and the decorations of things. So let's come in this area now. Let me mark where I'm going next. I'm gonna come into this area here. And I want to try to get that edge there. You see that? And then the mountain behind it is kind of coming in like this. See, using these contour lines really helps me to get a feel for this hilliness here. Okay, let's go to the other side here, and it's coming down like this. Kind of bottoms out down here. And that hill in the back here also has some contours, but then on the left hand side it gets covered up by this lovely tree here. Okay, let's do, I'm going to move up to the clouds. I want to get these clouds in here. These are very interesting clouds, and I just want to simplify them. And I want to have you think of like, here's my Apple iPhone case, my ears, and I want you to think of this almost like if this was a cloud and it was above your eye line, you see, you'd see the flatness underneath it. You see that? All right, so let's do that. Let's see here if I may have just gone. Okay, so let's do that. Up here in the clouds, let's just give me a very foreshortened shape. Oop, that's not gonna work like that. This is like the flat side of the cloud, and then over here we're gonna do it again, just very foreshortened. That means it's narrow. Keep this very light, because we're going to go back in and rework it. I just want something in place so I know that I'm looking way back in getting this nice in 3D here. Okay, and let's come into this area here and divide this up. This is like another mountain range in the back, and I'm just going to kind of come in here with a nice wavy line. And now I'm just going to add an overall very light tone to this. Take the side of your pencil and go very light. Now you want to be careful here that you don't get your palm into this. It will make your picture pretty you'll get a very, if you're using graphite, there's a potential that this would get really messy, but we're just going to continue that tone all the way down, because the brightest, I want to organize my values. And the brightest point on this drawing is the road. So I want to make sure that's the whitest of the page. And you could even add some tone to the sky if you want. I'm going to leave the bottom side of the clouds. I'm going to give that tone, but I'm just going to add a little, not on the top part of the clouds, but just a little bit of tone in the sky. All right, we're coming along really nice. Okay, let's work on this fence now. Let's get the fence in. That's going to help us a bit. So I'm going to come over here to the left-hand side, starting right here. And I want to show you, look at this. Here is the top. Here is the top of the fence. You see that? Oops. There's the top of the fence. Look where that lies in the relationship of the page. It's like almost halfway. You see that? So let's not be afraid of that. Let's see. Let's go about halfway right there. And then you could see that the fence comes all the way. It doesn't come to the edge. It comes right here and kind of goes right into the middle of the road there. You see that? So let's just very carefully and lightly just set up a guideline here. Okay, so then that fence continues way down here and it's going to be much smaller. So we can kind of continue this guideline back there. Better late than never, you bet, Linda. Okay, let's put another object in here, because as we keep adding more and more objects, it helps us to set back the perspective. So look at this. Look at this tree. This tree is important. This guy right there. You see him? Now let's put him in. Okay, so where about is he's going to be right here? Look at that. And he's small. So just come up with a containment area of about the size of that tree, and you already could see the value of that tree is darker than the value of the hillside. So let's just come in here and add a nice value to that. And you also see the right side is a darker value. So let's just come in here. Plus, look at that, we get the added benefit that it's casting a shadow across the road there. Look at that. Sharon's coming to your aid, Linda. Giving you that's okay, you're not alone. Okay, let's jump further back here. Look, there's a crop of trees also back here. So those are also of a, now these back here we don't have to worry about too much, but we just, so when I draw the trees, I draw my overall shape, do a tone, and then do another tone on top of that to get the underside or the darker, the second value. By putting these different objects in, it really helps me to determine the perspective, because I don't have any buildings or anything like that, but these trees I can assume are kind of the same size as they go back. I mean, they're the same type of tree. And so trees of the same species usually will grow to the same height. So we can assume they're the same trees, and they're just further back, they get smaller than the ones closest to us. All right, let's go after this guy here. Let's go after this this front tree right here, okay? So if you're looking to how to draw trees, of course I have a class on that, but there are a few videos. I'll throw a little link that you could jump up and take a look at here. If you want to, after I edit this, I'll put the link up there. But in the meantime, you'll be able to find a link down in the description. Okay, so let's just kind of draw a very light containment of this tree here. Okay, I'm going light right now. We're doing great on time, actually. Not feeling, sometimes I'll feel a little rushed, but we're doing excellent. Okay, then look at the far. This is an interesting. Look at that tree that's coming in the far right there. Let's kind of outline that one too, and get a good idea, because that has a nice, very contrasting. Has a lot of dark value that helps our picture here. And in both of those trees, I'm going to just add an overall value, overall tone. We're going to come back in for more detail in a little bit. Okay, before we do the detail, let's come in here to the side and add some more value here. More tone here. And you could even see that this tree that we just kind of drew, it's also kind of casting a shadow. So it's going across the surface, down, and then it comes across the road. All right, there's another fence on the right side of the road, so let's get that into place. So this is where I'm looking at right here. This fence right there. So we're going to come in kind of small right there. You see that? And then it's going to end up, right about there. So let me kind of draw a line here, a light line, because we're going to come back in just a minute and get these fence posts in. In fact, let's do that now, because that's gonna enhance our drawing quite a bit. So let's come in here. Now we've got these guidelines, and these are all like, man, they're all just hand, these sticks or whatever. See how much more easier it is to put these in place now that we have some guides. And then as you get closer, they're gonna get closer together. And then we could do the other side as well. Keep them pretty tight there. And if you haven't already, please take a second and do like the video. That totally that's like the best way that you could tell me thanks at this moment, by liking the video and leaving a comment. Even a comment is even better. Not a comment in our chat section, a comment down below. Okay. And then I'm just going to continue along the side of the road here. Just do some straight, very small though, to help, because these fences, looks like these fences continue down this this road as I go down into the distance. Okay, so then I'm going to come back up to the front here. Right down here, you see there's this ditch, right? So let's, this ditch kind of comes like this, and let's do some surface lines here. Again, these really help to suggest the surface, what's going on there. And now I'm just adding a little bit of like where these stones down the center of the road, you see that? Put these in carefully. We'll come back in and add some pebbles in just a bit. Let's jump to the other side here now. Let's work on this little cliff that's over here. So let's start with kind of the front here, and I'm just gonna come around here like this. Almost like I'm gonna remove this picture just for a second. This is what I want you to do. We're gonna draw something like this, and then behind it we're gonna do something like that, and then behind that it might be a little bit wider. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that stacking idea. So here we go. We're going to come down here, and then this one's going to be further out. And then it's, so we get some variation here, you see? Okay. So now I'm just going to add some twigs and some little bushes or leaves over here on the right side, okay? And then you have some grasses that are coming in as well. Combination of straight little hatchet marks that are like parallel, and then ones that are coming straight out of the ground to represent the grass. Okay, let's jump to the other side of the road and do something similar now, okay? So we're gonna, and you don't have to follow me exactly on this, as long as you get the idea. So you just don't, the thing is you don't want to make these things evenly spaced. So like, for example, let me just show you. make sure that I don't mess mine up. You know, you don't want to make sure that this is our perfectly even space. You want to create variation here. Okay, and I can also see if I squint my eyes, the tone, the value gets very dark down in here. You see that? So don't be afraid to go in a little bit dark. Okay. This kind of flattens out quite a bit with the road back here, right? All right, let's get this tree. Let's get this tree here, and we're going to come up here, and it looks like this branch comes in. Looks like it's coming over here, right? Now, when I put these trees together, I think of a mass. I think of like I'm adding clay all the way around it. I don't think of it as flat. So let's kind of let's think of that. Let's think of it as being round. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, look what I'm doing. I'm just kind of I'm building it. All the strokes that I'm creating are round, and I just keep thinking these like I'm building it out of cotton balls almost. Oh, here's a mistake I just made. This is a good mistake I made. Look, I lost concentration for a second. And look what I did. Look what I did right in here. You see that? I had those three. That having the three come out at the same place, that just breaks that needs to be broken up just a bit. Okay, so let me just undo that there. And just move this branch. I'm just going to move this branch down. See? That makes it a much more interesting. Okay, so now I can just kind of start to add just a little bit more texture to my tree. I really don't have to add too many leaves. It's more about texture and value. And if you look at the tree, you could see the right side is darker than the left side. You see that? So I want to make sure that I am, this side is all going to be in shadow. Okay, I'm going to jump to the left and get this. This guy's really very dark in value, and I don't want to be afraid of going dark over here because this is interesting. And I even add just some little dots on the edge to kind of give it a very natural feel back there. Okay, there's this tree comes down a little bit more, and then there's this, looks like there's this bush that's nice on the right on the edge here, that's creating a nice value. There's two things that will make your painting, once you transfer over, start painting things, there's really two things that are going to make your painting scream with greatness. It's understanding value. Okay, every color has a gray value, and if you get your values right, it's going to look correctly. But a lot of times paintings fail because you don't get your values right. And I think that's one thing that drawing with one value over and over again really helps you to get good at understanding, wow, how much value comes into play with painting. The other thing too that I will say often is a good drawing will always help a bad painting. So, the more you practice drawing, it's just going to enhance your painting ability, tenfold. All right, let's get this. There's this beautiful gate. There's this other fence in the back here that has a nice, very, looks like it's a more sturdy than the one that is on the road here. So I just put 2 lines down, and I'm going to put like 3, well, ultimately be like 4. You see that? So it looks more natural. Not natural, more man-made. So how I did that was, let me just move this picture over for a second. I'll show you. So I started with a top like this, got the bottom, and then I just did 2 more lines down the center, and then just went in with this right there. You see? That's what I did. Ooh. There we are. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, let's work on this hillside over here now. There's some bushes, so if you almost can draw them as like little mounds. Just make sure you keep shading the right side, because that's what side the light is shining. That's where the light is falling. And then there's some really dark shadows that are casting on the ground here. And as I keep moving up to the right, we've got this gorgeous tree. It's very dark in value. Way back in the back there, you see that? Okay, I'm going to move, now I'm going to move into this section here. I'm going to kind of move into this, oh, where am I? All right, I'm going to move into this area here, okay, where I have all these trees, and I'm gonna think of them almost as like, again, cotton balls. You know, I'm thinking like, okay, there's a light side and a dark side, and this cotton ball is stretched, or this one's smushed, but they're kind of overlapping each other, okay? Especially, look, especially in this area here, you see that? So let's put those in here. And they're going to be darker tone. Look at the value in those trees compared to the hillside. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. Look at the range of value in here compared to the value in the hillside. You see that? So that area, I want to make sure it's darker than this front area here. So don't be afraid to go in here right away and drop in another tone. For me, dropping in a tone, a bass tone, is so much easier than coming back. Okay, I'm going to squint my eyes, and I'm really looking at the value between the road and the hillside. Wow, look how different the value is. And mine on my drawing, you know, I need to go over this whole thing again with another darker pass to make that even more contrasty. So I'm just gonna go over everything. Sometimes I'll refer to the organization of values, and this is exactly what I mean. Meaning that in your pictures, you at some point determine, well, this is the darkest dark, and this is the lightest light. So you want to make sure that everything in between those are representative of that. Now here's another one I just noticed. Look how bright the road is as it goes further back versus the road up front. So I'm gonna come in here just with a light tone at the front of my drawing. This is so, this is what proper value, yes, exactly, Chris. When you get your values right, man, I'll tell you, it just really starts to all come together. Remember, your eye is drawn to light. So wherever the light is, that's where your eye is going to go. And so we talk. Sometimes I talk about storytelling. You're creating the story visually, and you're leading the viewer. It's not so much they're reading, but you're leading them through the picture. And so we use light to pull them in, and that's exactly what's going on here. Now look at this. Is interesting. Let me make sure I'm not messing up my drawing here, but look, I'm going to erase this. Okay, now let me show you this. This is interesting. Look at that right there. You see that? You see where the top of the road is very white, and then it jumps into that darker value with the trees? Well, look at mine. I have two dots here where that is at. So I'm going to come in. I don't know what yours looks like, but I definitely want to fill that in just a bit with some value. And then also over here on this curve in the distance. Okay. And even up front here, I'm going to put a little arrow on the side. Look, this, I got this marked too dark. That line was too dark. That was my fault. I'm seeing the light and the dark. Oh, that's right. Look at that. Makes for a very interesting picture, huh? Oh, wow. I just looked at the time. we are an hour. We got carried away. I lost track of time. We should have been done already. Look up here at these clouds. Okay, the clouds have shadow underneath, so let's draw some tone in there. I'm sorry, everyone. And the last thing, we're done now, but the last thing I want you to do is take a look at those mountains in the background, okay? Look at this now. Okay, let's look at the value of the mountains in the back. Look at this mountain here compared to this mountain there. All right, so let's try and get a distinction between those two. So the one further back is a little bit lighter. It's like dark at top, and then it gets a little bit lighter, and then you have the second row. So let's kind of make those. Let's try and make a distinction between those two. So I'm just going to come in here like this, and then come in here just a bit. All right, I think that's going to do it, everyone. I'm just going to come in here and add just a little bit of, oh, don't cat. There's a little more detail you can add, just some little surface lines in the road where they're going. But oh, the cat's all like getting up into me. All right, I think we're gonna end it there. Wow, we went way overboard. So hey, listen, thanks for watching, everyone. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and look at that. That's not too bad. I'm sure yours looks excellent. So jump over to Facebook. Link is down here in the description. Post your drawing. Let's see how you do. like, subscribe, do all that great stuff. All right, comes to the end of Monday. I always hate saying goodbye, but thanks for watching, everyone. Go out there and make your day great, right? See ya.